Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to now our third edition of the Milk and Cookie Show. I'm excited about today because we have Ross. Welcome back to the
Great to be
show.
here.
And some newcomers to the Milk and Cookie Show. Willie Hoffa, straight out of I don't even know what exotic place that is behind him.
Turks,
And Jonah
Turks and
Wolfe,
Caicos.
welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you. Excited to be on.
Thank you.
We're going to turn it over right away to the MC of the day, Ross Clark. What do you got for us?
Thank you, Sid. Jealous of Willie right now being in Turks and Caicos. Jealous of Wolfe being in college. Enjoy it while it lasts. Let's kick it off since this is the Milk and Cookie Show with what is everyone's favorite cookie? That's a very debated topic. I think there's a right answer, but let's hear from the camper first. Willie, what is your favorite cookie?
It's controversial with like my cabin, but I'm gonna have to go oatmeal raisin.
Oh, I can see like camper, like counselor, Jonah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think my whole Tanuga career, I've been hated on it at every Milk and Cookies, but I'm a big oatmeal raisin guy.
It's the best
Sid,
cookie.
who's maybe had more cookies than anyone in the history of Camp Tanuga.
You know, this is gonna be a twofold answer because of the current available flavors. I'm going to make it a threesome. That oatmeal raisin is truly my favorite. But if we're going to go back to all the years, Ross, that we've had, that at least I've been alive for in Milk and Cookies, it is by far and away the peanut butter cookie, which I happen to have here today.
Wow.
Peanut butter cookie. Here's the thing about peanut butter cookie, because I'm going to tie it in loosely to what was a tradition. The peanut butter cookie. And I would say to all of you Tanuga fans out there, traditions can change because we had to eliminate the peanut butter cookie
Because of people like
of
Jonah Wolfe.
Because of me.
I wasn't going to say it. It's just coincidence today.
Yeah.
But campers like Jonah Wolfe. But because of two things, inclusion, we wanted to include Jonah Wolfe coming to camp, right? We chose to change our tradition of the peanut butter cookie. Some people have lost sight a little bit of inclusion these days, sorry to hear, but we have not here at Tanuga. But still, the peanut butter cookie with strawberry milk, by the way, which I'm going to dip here while we move on from to the show a little bit, and hear what, Ross, your favorite cookie is.
So the right answer is the classic chocolate chip cookie, especially when it's nice and warm and chewy, and it's not, so hard when it comes out of the oven. Chef Lori makes them just perfect, just the way I like them. I do have some Thin Mint cookies. Tip: put them in the freezer or the fridge. They're better cooled. Now that we've heard some wrong answers about cookies and a couple right ones, I want to ask you guys some questions. Let's start with Willie. Willie, you're going into your CIT summer, big summer. My favorite summer as a camper, most people's favorite summer. The whole vibe of the summer kind of goes off of how the CITs are. So what are you most looking forward to as a CIT this year?
I would have to say just like being like at a higher place as a role model. I feel like, like as you get older, like you kind of inspire like more of the younger kids, like, and especially being a CIT, that's like the main group of kids that are looked at. And, I'm also excited just, hang out with my cabin every day. And it's kind of like a buildup of the whole year. It's like, you're waiting to go to camp again. And I'm excited, of course, for Isle Royal and like seeing a lot of the people that I haven't seen since last summer. I think that's also like my biggest thing.
Yeah. Now you have a really special cabin. You guys are all really close. You've been coming together for years. a lot of cabins, they get new campers and some leave and some don't come back, but you guys have all kind of stuck around. What do you think is it about your cabin? Like, why are you guys so close in camp and out of camp?
I think considering that like most of our cabin is like we're all in like a group at home, and like obviously there's kids like Jonah and Topher who aren't like with us at home, but like Jonah, like we talk to him all the time. Like we have 2 group chats with Jonah. Like we're always like we're talking to him whenever, and I think it's just the fact that we have like all year from when we get back from camp to talk about camp and talk about what happened at camp and what we're going to do at camp next summer. And I think that just keeps everyone together once we get there, because it's like, we know each other so well. It's like just like a returning group.
Yeah. So even when you're not at camp together, like when camp's over, it's like camp's still going for you guys.
Yeah,
You guys
we're
are
still talking about it, and we
still
still like,
vibing.
yeah, we still keep some traditions going.
All right. Wolfie, you've been their counselor for what will this be your 4th year as these guys' counselor?
Yep.
So
4th year.
and they're a fun group, but I wouldn't say they're the easiest group.
Yeah.
What makes you keep coming back year after year? A lot of people love camp. They come back for a summer. Sometimes they don't come back at all to be a counselor. You came back now 4 times. What keeps you coming back?
I've just my whole life I've always loved camp. I mean, even when I was too young to be a camper, when family camp was going on, I've gone every year. So like I've been at camp my whole life really. I feel like it's a part of me. It's a part of my summers. Like 2020 was the only summer I haven't been at camp, and since 2021, like I didn't have to take a break from camper to counselor like others. So I've been at camp for 4 years in a row now. And when I was a camper, I had my group of the people in my cabin. And now as a counselor, I have all these kids and all the counselors I'm friends with. And it's really just the people that keep me coming back. I love it.
Yeah, I hear that a lot from everyone. They say it's the people. It's the people you meet. Whether it's a friend from down the street who you never knew, or it's somebody from Australia. Uh, you just meet great people at camp. What would you guys say, Jonah or Willie, is like the best part about camp? Is it the all-day programs? Is it the trips? For me, it's like the moments, like horseshoe hockey, that moment building up to the game, 4th of July, during the eights building the fire. What is it for you guys?
You want to go first, Willie?
Yeah. I would say like, I definitely agree with like the moments. I think that's a huge thing, but I also think like the way that it all fits together, like all those things that you just named, the way that like they all kind of impact the summer, like everything that happens just gets added to like this like collection of like experiences that you get over the summer, and it brings everyone closer. And it's like by like the last week of camp, it's like you have all these different things to reflect on. And I think that the most important thing and the most like fun thing to me is how you have so much to talk about with like people that you might have just met at the beginning of the month. And then now after all those experiences, it's like they're like you guys are best friends.
Yeah. Jonah?
My favorites, I mean, it's kind of, I don't really have anything specific, but like, I'm a big tennis guy. I love tennis, Yanis. But I also like the trips a lot. Like, I just think being on the trips, like you're in such a small group away from the world, and like just knowing that you get to do something that barely anybody else gets to do. It's pretty awesome, especially with something like Isle Royal, or like I've been on the canoe trip twice now. I had 2 crazy experiences. When I was a camper, it hailed. And when I was a counselor, our tent flooded at night from the rain. And both sound awful, but like 2 of my favorite parts about camp for sure. Just the crazy memories you get from the trips.
Yeah, it seems like the canoe trip is always something that happens, but it's never like, oh, I wish I didn't go on that one. It was always like, that was crazy. We made it. That was awesome. Can't wait to do it again as a counselor. That was like me as a camper. It was kind of it wound up being a 1-night trip because of the rain. Didn't love it. And then as a counselor, it was my favorite trip I've ever been on. I'm going to pass it over to Sid, who has another little something for us.
Yeah, we need to end with the traditional cookie quiz.
Yes.
I'm going to be a little bit unorthodox today. We're going to ask, keeping it in the spirit of the CIT format. I'm going to pose the question to Jonah and Willie and Ross. I'm going to let you be the judge of who wins the extra cookie. So, as many of us know, as a CIT, there are certain things that are exclusive to the CIT summer, more than a couple. So, how this is going to work? We're going to start with Willie, and then go back and forth until somebody is truly stumped. Kind of like Name That Tune, the evening program. Um, so we're going to keep this. Some things are only spoken about when we're at camp, but I think you guys know what I'm referring to, or the few things that may not be public information. But we're going to keep it to the traditions that we'd like everybody to know about, and you guys, Jonah, you've gone through. Willie, you've witnessed. So we're going to start with you, Willie. Things that are specific only to the CIT group in the CIT summer.
Isle Royal.
That's a good answer.
Planning war games.
Maybe not this summer, but Willie, back to you.
Cookie questions, I guess.
Oh yeah, CITs lead the milk and cookies and the cookie questions. Wolfie.
A day trip to Sands Park.
Okay. Are you guys gonna do that this summer?
Yeah, if we're at camp on 4th of July, I'd assume so. Something like that.
Willie.
I gotta think.
Do you want to hit?
Yeah.
That was a good hint.
Oh, you get to start 114.
There you go.
That-
Only
that
the
was a good
CITs can start 104. All right,
We
on to
tried.
Jonah.
We tried saving it last year.
Ooh. This is tough because camp's so inclusive. There's not that much that's only CIT stuff. What about the War Games draft or picking teams?
Sticking with the War Games theme.
Yeah.
All right. It's kind of a half
got
point.
another.
We already mentioned. All right, Willie.
Half point.
Picking teams for BBFL.
There you go. That was a good one.
That's a
The
good one.
Back Boys Football League, founded
that's
by
ball
the
knowledge.
CITs of 2011. Who are they? That was my cabin. Continue, Wolfie.
Jesus.
Think about the
I
word.
missed my CIT summer.
It's true. 2020.
So-
you were a B10.
I was a B10.
That was kind of like a super CIT. So
Yeah. Oh, speaking of B10, helping out the program director as a CIT.
There you go.
That's a big job.
think of the word
Back
CIT.
camp.
What does it stand for, Willie?
Um,
Do you know what
counselor in
CIT
training.
stands for? Okay.
Yeah, counselor. I mean, I guess you could say like you're like preparing to like be a counselor after your gap year. Like you're learning like what you got to do. I guess.
All right. Let's see if we can each get one more.
I just had one. Oh, leading a boys and girls side initiation or being a part of that.
Good one.
That's a big
That's
one.
a good one. That's a good one. Like a CIT speech maybe like at the end of the summer. Like
Did you even see Sid doing that? I think he just came up with that. That was good. The CIT speech.
yeah, I thought of it because Wolfie said initiation.
Sid, any
you know,
any
the
old
stats.
school ones that they may not even know about that might need to bring back?
I mean, one's a Friday night setting up for Friday night
Oh, there you
supper.
go.
Banquet.
Banquet.
Oh
Banquet.
yeah.
Helping out in the younger kids' cabin as maybe a junior counselor, a counselor in training.
I did that a lot as a B10.
All
You guys
good
run.
ones.
Yeah.
I think we got to blow the bugle, Ross.
Yeah. I think it's for Milk Cookies is ending. It's usually next? A3. I promised a couple of B2s. I'd let them do the announcement, so I gotta find them and do it.
I gotta go to biking again.
I got BBFL.
There you go.
No, then I'm at BBFL too.
Yeah.
I'm not missing that.
All right.
Well, thanks for
I'll
joining
e-bike
us.
over.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Happy to
thank
be
you.
here.
So excited.